In a dimly lit room cluttered with old pizza boxes and crumpled soda cans, Phil sat at his worn-out desk, the dying light of his computer screen illuminating his gaunt face. For 10 long years, he had become a captive in his own home, a fortress of solitude built from shame, disappointment, and dreams that had crumbled into dust. But the fire in his heart had never completely extinguished. He longed to become a wrestling superstar, a dream that felt like a fleeting specter just out of reach. The only constant in Phil's life was his unlikely friendship with a streamer named Triple P. Phil had known him since last year. They shared laughs, secrets, and, often, the unreturned charges of life. Triple P, however, had morphed from a friend into a mocker. With his slick hair and flashy persona, he had built a following on charisma and a sense of superiority. Phil, on the other hand, remained trapped, feeling like a specter in his own existence. Their weekly live streams had become a routine. Phil would join Triple P, hoping to share his wrestling aspirations, to connect with audiences, to feel alive. But every time he logged in, he was met with sarcasm and laughter. "Phil, you're the only guy who thinks practicing wrestling moves in his living room counts as training," Triple P would chuckle, his followers echoing his laughter in the chat. Underneath this facade, however, there was a darkness. Triple P loathed Phil's existence, seeing him as nothing more than a lol cow, a source of mockery and clicks. Between his quips and snide remarks was an insatiable hunger to expose Phil's truth. He was just waiting for the perfect moment. On one particular evening, as Phil spoke fervently about his dreams, the flicker of hope ignited in his eyes. He mentioned his plan to save up for wrestling classes, believing that if he took that first step, everything would change. "I just need a little help from people who believe in me," he said, his voice quivering with sincerity. "This is my chance." Triple P could hardly contain his disdain. The chat filled with emojis of mock applause, and Phil's heart sank as he realized the laughter was at his expense. Someone needs to remind Phil that dreams don't pay the bills. "Maybe just a GoFundMe for reality would be better," he retorted, grinning as the comments erupted with agreement. The moment felt like a crushing weight on Phil's chest. He wanted to scream, to tell Triple P about the fears that kept him indoors, the constant begging for money that had become his daily ritual. The isolation, a companion that had turned into a jailer, wrapped its icy fingers around him, squeezing the breath of belief from his lungs. As the live stream continued, Phil began to feel exposed, stripped of the bravado he tried to put on in front of the camera. The laughter enveloped him, suffocating him in waves of ridicule. Unable to bear the humiliation, he closed his eyes, wishing for a world where he could escape into the rain. A world where he could swing and soar, where the ropes would embrace him instead of scorn. Triple P, sensing the turning tide in Phil's expression, prepared for his grand reveal. "You know," he said, with an insidious glee, "you've been living like this for so long, some might say you're my very own lol cow." The chat exploded with fiery comments, and outside the digital realm, Phil felt the walls of his sanctuary close in on him. In that moment, a tear slipped from Phil's eye. He realized the heartache of wanting something. That sometimes hope could be a bitter pill to swallow. His dream of wrestling faded into the dim corners of his mind, eclipsed by the reality of mockery and the overwhelming feeling of failure. The live stream ended. The comments raged on. While the rest of the world continued to laugh and point fingers, Phil sat in silence. His heart heavy with the weight of dreams deferred, his mind trapped in a cycle of despair. As the night cloaked the world outside, Phil exhaled a heavy breath, a haunting melody of regret mingling with whispers of hope. There, in that room, he was just a man who wanted to soar, dreaming of a ring where he could finally, perhaps, escape the chains of his existence. But the world had shown him its cruel edge, and the arena, now a distant memory, was silent to his pleas.